How about the media sizzle? Well, we got a podcast by Rosenblather and McMasterbator over there. Now, Rosenblather claims that he doesn't like writing negative hit pieces against the Jets. Oh, really? This is the guy who, along with Dirty Diana Rossini, wrote an article from 30 disgruntled employees that we had fired, and they all said, oh, the Jets stink. No. What a surprise. You mean we fired these people and they don't have a high opinion of us? That's correct. Oh, that's a good article to write. But then he claims he doesn't like writing negative hit pieces. Now, what he really means is he doesn't like receiving negative attention when he's called out on his bullshit. That's what he really means. He doesn't mind writing the hit piece. He just can't take the backlash because remember, he's a beta personality, whereas Country Club Connor, for example, is an alpha. That's why they're good butt buddies. But he's a beta, so he doesn't like the negative. He doesn't like people attacking him. It's hard for him to deal with. Country Club Connor's an alpha and a narcissist, so he doesn't care if you attack him. As long as he's getting attention, good attention, bad attention, as long as it's attention, Country Club loves it. Not the same with beta cuck Rosenblather. So that was kind of funny and stupid. He claims he wants to cover a winning team. Oh, I'm sure he does. Part of the issue that the media has with the Jets is they keep losing. And the reason they have a problem with that is they actually would like to cover a winning team because then they get to write books like Gary Gnu Myers. You know, he's got several books out about the Giants. So he loves the Giants because they've allowed him to write these books and he can be an author and feel fancy and have editors and literary agents and, oh my goodness, and butlers and maids and all this. He can be on the bestseller list and, feel all fancy and, oh, I'm so much better than you. Gary Gnu Myers continues to have me blocked on X because I was exposing him for his bullshit. But nonetheless, that's really what they want to do. You know, Rosenblather would love to write a book about the Jets, but nobody wants to read a book about the Jets keep losing. That's not a good book. And then they lost again. And then after that, they lost again. And then after that, they went and watched the tape and had a good week of practice, but then they lost again. That's a terrible book. So nobody's going to read that shit. So they actually do want the Jets to win in a certain way, but in a certain sense. But if they can't have that, then they want chaos, of course, because then that brings them the clickety-clicks. He does say that we will aim for a name at quarterback, but not a lot available. And this is sort of what I was alluding to earlier with Cousins, because, and I kind of understand this from Glenn's point of view. Malik Willis is probably the best fit, but we don't really have the time to see. I mean, that's pretty risky. 6 games started. He's played really well when he's played for Green Bay, but the sample size is so small that it's chancy. Whereas if you could get a guy like Cousins, you know what you're getting. It's not going to be spectacular, but it's also probably not going to be terrible. And given the fact that we have a pretty good situation with Garrett Wilson, Mason Taylor, Adonai Mitchell, probably at 16. We could get Mekhi Lemon, but he's probably gone before that. But we'll get another first-round wide receiver, probably. That's a good wide receiver room. Plus, John Mechie and Isaiah Williams are pretty good for 4 and 5s. And then you have the running game. If we sign Breece Hall, which I anticipate we will, we have a good running game. We have a decent offensive line, especially if we re-sign AVT. All that, good stuff. And so, don't you want to come here, Mr. Cousins, and you get the opportunity to play? There's not going to be anyone behind you to threaten your job like they did with Michael Penix. You can play out 1 or 2 years here, or maybe more, who knows, and have a pretty good offense. I mean, I think people are selling short Adonai Mitchell, how good he is, because we had quarterbacks who were throwing it behind him over his head, making him twist around like a pretzel to try and catch a ball. If you had a quarterback, I think you would have seen a lot more yardage out of Mr. Mitchell. I really do. And then you have Wilson and then another first round. I mean, what if we get Carnell Tate? If Tater falls to us, that would be fantastic. Could happen. But so I don't know. We'll see. But who knows what Stefanski wants to do down there? They might want to retain Cousins. What is Stefanski going to do with his quarterback situation? Rely on Penix? Penix coming back from injury. Even if they like him long term, that's a little sketchy. Yeah, maybe they sign somebody in the meantime that they like better, like a Mariota, or maybe they sign a Willis and do a part-time duty and then see what happens with Penix. Maybe that's something they could like, and they like that better than Cousins because you figure Stefanski's got a long leash down there, right? They're definitely longer than Glenn. So, and they have a really nice defense. They got Bijan. They got a lot of stuff down there. Now Cousins maybe wants to stay there. I don't know. It's a tough situation, but if Frank Reich could help us get somebody in here who knows what the hell they're doing, well, wouldn't that be good? That's really all they said. It was not a great podcast, to be honest.